Hi friends, I am Devjay Thakur, pursuing PhD in an Indian Institute of Technology, Tirupati. I have promised you that we will come with new videos, and I have already come with new videos, and the video is on testing of hypothesis. Okay, let's make a fun with you, and I and you, we all enjoy it together. Okay, so I introduce this testing of hypothesis using just an example. Suppose here we have taken the data of Kolkata air pollution of 9 metro station. I'm changing just in color because it will be helpful. Okay, of 9 metro station, that is Shambhajar, Mahatma Gandhi Road, Central, Rabindra Sadan, Jatin Das Park, etc. from 1st January 2014 to 31st December 2019. And here my job is to estimate the pollutant concentration value in the air using spatio-temporal model. And we assume that the pollutant concentration value in ith hour and in the jth location in the air is dependent variable. And traffic flow, number of trucks, number of autos, number of heavy loaded cars, average wind speed, these all are independent variables. And on the basis of dependent and independent variables, I am making a linear regression model where the parameter is theta, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, beta 4, beta 5. Now, I will tell you that what assumption I have taken here. Here, basically, I have taken some assumption related to the dependent variables, and here the dependent variables is concentration of the pollutant, and here the characteristics of the and on which and of which I have taken assumptions of the central tendency and dispersions of dependent variables. Basically, I am focusing on these two things. One is central tendency and dispersion, and I have taken some assumption regarding this. Some is mean, median, mode, SD, first quartile, third quartile, minimum, maximum, etc. And I have also taken some assumptions related to the model also, that the model is additive. The linear relationship between the independent variables are negligible. That is the important point. The variance of the error term is fixed with respect to the time and space. The error terms are independent and identically distributed. And all the variables are equally important for this model. The effects of independent variables on concentration of the pollutant in the air is independently identified. These points are too much important in future. That's why I have taken the serious assumption on the basis of these points. Now I'm telling you that for I have taken already the assumptions on the basis of dependent variables and on the basis of the model. And next, when I specify a model, then our work is to estimate the parameter. And in the last video, we have already learned how to estimate the parameter. And now our work is to validate the model and the estimation also. And for this testing of hypothesis, it is the most important thing. and that's why it is too much handy, and that's why we need to learn this topic, testing of hypothesis. And to learn the testing of hypothesis, we first know what is the hypothesis means. Hypothesis is nothing but assumptions or conjectures. And in hypothesis, basically we assume some things related to the parameter or the model. Okay, if we assume something, then that is obvious that there exists of opposite of that conjectures, and it is really exist, and that's why we distinguishes these two type of hypothesis into different terminology. One is null hypothesis and another is alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis is that what we assume, and alternative hypothesis is that what we assume against our assumption. That means, suppose we assume that the value of theta is 10, then the alternative hypothesis is the value of theta is except the 10. So null hypothesis is our assumption and the alternative hypothesis is just opposite our assumption, what we assume. Okay. In the next slide, I will discuss what is the types of hypothesis. Mainly, when I am giving something assumption about the parameter and model, sometimes it may be a single value, sometimes it may be an interval. So if the hypothesis assumes a single value, then that is called simple hypothesis. And if the hypothesis does not give a single value, then that is called composite hypothesis. Suppose the value of theta is 10, it is the particular single value, so that's why the hypothesis is called simple hypothesis. But if theta assumes the value except 10, that or greater than 10 or less than 10, then that value, the set of values or this hypothesis is called composite hypothesis. Okay. So I want to summarize what I have learned or we have learned together in the video. One thing is hypothesis. This is two types. One is simple hypothesis and one is composite hypothesis. Simple hypothesis can be null hypothesis, can be alternative hypothesis. Composite hypothesis is also null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. And this null hypothesis is possible. This null simple hypothesis to null composite alternative is possible, and alternative simple hypothesis to alternative null hypothesis is possible, and alternative simple hypothesis to alternative composite hypothesis is also possible. If we take an example, suppose simple null versus composite null. Suppose the value of theta is 10. That is simple null hypothesis. If we take the value of theta is greater than 10, then that will be composite alternative. Okay. If we take the value of theta is 11, that is composite, and that is simple alternative. If we take composite null versus, sorry, I have done a mistake. Simple null versus composite alternative. Okay. And simple null versus composite alternative. And this is possible and this is possible. So there are four possibilities. One is simple null versus composite alternative. Example, theta is 10 versus theta greater than 10. Simple alternative versus composite null. Theta is greater than 10 versus theta equal to 10. Simple null versus simple alternative, that is theta is equal to 10 versus theta is equal to 11. Composite null versus composite alternative, theta is greater than 10 versus theta is less than 10. So that is called composite null versus composite. So I am summarizing everything what we have learned in this lecture. Okay. Now I will come with some more topics in the next video. Just wait till and attach with me. And if you like this video or it is fruitful, just like, share or subscribe my channel and start to get more funny videos. Okay, best of luck. Nice to meet you again. Bye. Thank you.